on Kardec Radio.
Hello, everybody. Beautiful Tuesday, 29th of June, 7:18 Irish time. So glad you are here with us today. Thank you, our Irish friends, workers from SSCI, all the volunteers. Thank you very much. Wanderley for being here with us as well.
Hi, guys.
And our friends from UK, from Portugal, from Brazil, America. I'm glad you are here. And today is sunny and very warm here.
Oh, yeah.
Not like in North America, but it is warm. For our standards, it's very warm. Yeah. So today we're going to start chapter 6 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. And it's a short chapter, but very interesting chapter. And let's see, we probably will talk today from items 1 up to item 4. Oh, and
Yeah.
we can see how we will develop that. So, Wanderley, thank you very much again.
My pleasure.
And I hope you're okay.
All
And
good, my friend. All good.
Let's start our ride. Let me see here. Leah, thank you. I hope
Hi, Leah.
is smooth in Sweden as well, my dear. So let me do the initial prayer.
Sure.
So let's sit comfortably. Raise up our minds, make connection with superior spirits, with our mentors of this group, mentors of Ireland. Asking them to guide us, to give us what we need in order to evolve, in order to progress, in order to reach out to our targets, our goals. Also, we ask you to look after our brothers and sisters who are suffering in the hospitals, suffering from mental health problems, those who are thinking about suicide. May this prayer reach them and comfort them somehow. So be it. Amen. Okie dokie. Wanderley, I need your help. I forgot my medicine for the hay fever. It's starting here. I'm gonna start sneezing here. Can you start I'm gonna get the grab the,
Sure.
the medicine and back. Can you start to talk about it?
Sure. Guys, this chapter on the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 6, is quite interesting because this chapter it's dedicated to Jesus himself. There are some messages here that you guys will see. I think in item 5, item 6, item 7, and item 8. All this message, it's written, it's signed by the Spirit of Truth. I'm starting from here. Why? Because some people in the Spiritist movement in Brazil, they say that the Spirit of Truth is Jesus himself. Some people, they say that the Spirit of Truth is a group related to high evolved spirits related to Jesus. But is that important? Not really. But I'm explaining this here in the beginning of this chapter, before talking about the chapter, to try to avoid this. But at least the message on item, where is it? Item 5 itself, this message was not first written in the Gospel according to Spiritism. Remembering that the first book which Kardec codified was the Spirit's book, then was the Medium's book, not the Gospel. And in this message, I believe this message only came in the Medium's book, I think was in the second or in the third edition. And Kardec, he was a bit skeptical to publish this message, because here it seems, at least in this message, that this message was given by Jesus himself. Why Kardec skeptical about this message? Because Kardec understood in the Medium's book that some spirits, that they are not lying. Some spirits they lie. Some spirits we call mischievous spirits. They can be pretending that they are someone, but they are not. But Kardec understood that this message here, even if it wasn't from Jesus himself, was for a high evolved spirit or from high evolved spirits. But if I'm not mistaken, there is one Spiritist magazine which Kardec believes, as far as I'm aware, that this message comes from Jesus himself. So that's why Kardec was a bit skeptical, because that's why he only published it after. Then after he published in the Medium's book, he published in the Gospel according to Spiritism, because he was a bit aware, that people, they can be, saying that how come Jesus would send a message? How come Jesus would appear, and give a message through spirits? So Kardec, as Kardec was a man of logic, he understood that a lot of people, they would go against this message. But in the end, he decided to publish this message. Okay? But this chapter here, as it says here, he brings to us a parable that is in Matthew 28:30, which he says, "Come to me, all who you are weary and burdened, and I give you the rest. I give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and I will find you rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." This message, at least for me, when I read at first time in the Gospel, I was a bit lost. As if I'm reading the message itself, even if it's a beautiful message, I'm still a bit lost if I don't get the explanation here from the Spirit's book, to be honest, because it's a quite deep message, because he says here that I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you find rest for your souls. So he's promising something good to us. But Kardec explains that this easy yoke that he's giving to us has a condition. A condition, it may sound quite strange to say, oh, Jesus is offering something, but how come a spirit such elevated as Jesus, that we always say that is a pure spirit, is asking for something in exchange? And in fact, Kardec explains here that the only thing which he asks from us is to be working towards charity and towards love. But you see what he's asking from us? He's not asking from us our time. I mean, he's asking for us to use our time wisely, of course, but he's asking us to love one another, to practice the law of love, and to practice charity. You see how high evolved spirits, what they ask for us, they don't ask for material things. They don't ask for us to kill animals like in the past, some religions, they used to do it. They don't ask us to believe in this or that. They just say to us, love one another and try to practice charity. Even if you don't want to believe in Jesus, that's fine, as long as you are doing this, So that's why here in this message, I believe Jesus is trying to be subtle, but he's saying to us, if you want to get something, you have to give something to life, but not something material, something from our hearts, But that's the first part here, which I got from item 1 and 2. What do you think, Stevan?
Yeah, I think that what we have to keep in our mind, the gentle yoke is based in faith in the future and
Yeah.
confidence in God's justice.
Yeah.
Once you have it, doesn't matter what your problems, your how hard it is, how big it is, how intense it is. If you have faith and trust in God's justice, it, like Mary said, it will pass.
Yeah.
So that's the main principle, at least for me, in order to consider, because we always think like, oh, my yoke is heavier than my brother. No, everyone needs to go under what they need to go. Okay, but also on the item 3, we this take us back to the Last Supper, when Jesus said, uh, "This is our." Basically, he said, "This is our last meal together." You know, and I don't know the exactly words, but he said, "But I promise you, you need to trust in me, and I will ask my Father to send a consoler for you." And everybody thinks, and he also has said about I will send the Spirit of the Truth, and what Wanderley said is very accurate. We don't care if the Spirit of Truth is Jesus or anybody. We don't. That's not relevant here. What is relevant here is the message is is giving us the idea of what is the consoler. To be honest with you guys, I always thought like, oh, but what Spiritism thinks they are the consoler. I always ask this to myself. I even consider like a kind of uh, I don't know if that is a word prepotent, but a kind of
An arrogant statement
an
from
arrogant
Spiritism.
statement from the Spiritism, like we are
Yeah.
the the promised consoler, and studying, analyzing, uh, I changed my mind, because what we need to understand is the Spiritism moral, and everything what Kardec wrote or he codified, or he was explaining in simple words, with, of course, with the help of the good spirits. He was explaining simple words. No more. Uh, what's the name? No more.
Dogmas.
No, this is parables. No more parables.
Okay, let's go straight to the point. Yeah.
Yeah, no more parables. No more. Oh, my interpretation takes to this. No, Spiritism take you straight to the point. Spiritism, with the explanations here, think led to you to think either we have moral suffering and we have physical suffering. That's it. Physical suffering is the name, as we say, we feel painful in my arms, my body. Is the physical suffering, and this is something that they're gonna pass. Like I have a disease, like this hay fever here. It will pass. When finish the summer, it will pass. But the problem is the moral suffering, which is what we need to pay attention, what we need to focus ourselves. No? And I like one statement here when it says Spiritism has come to open the eyes and ears of earthly humanity because it speaks without figuration or allegory, so lifting up the veil that had been intentionally cast upon certain mysteries. So, which is the mysteries is what I said already: do good, treat your neighbor as you would like them to treat you, respect their boundaries, respect their opinion, practice charity, not just the charity of giving, but the charity of spend your time with them, make them notes they are there. So all these will help you in order to distinguish what is your moral pain and your physical pain. So, and what happened in the past, the past religions kind of mix this because they put, oh, you're gonna burn in the hell. You're gonna, if you don't this, you're gonna be punished, and almost the mainly punishments was very painful in the body. But we are talking here, the painful is in the moral sense. Painful is you have your conscience very, very deep in terms of, okay, what I did. What happened in this? Why it happened this? So we needed to evaluate and kind of make a reflection. What is the sense of Spiritism? Why the Spiritism we at least now consider is the promise, the consoler. So, Wanderley, I don't know if you agree with me.
No, I agree with you 100%, Steven. But I want to break down a little bit just item 3, because as you said here, he says that he's going to be sending the consoler, which is going to stay with us forever. Why I'm bringing this again? Because throughout history, after this parable was written in John, and let's remember that between the canonical Gospels, the Gospel of John is the more we can put, is the one which brings more poetry, perhaps, which is more lyrical, perhaps. The Gospel of Mark, which is probably good, is the Gospel of Peter, in fact, is the Gospel of action. The Gospel of Luke wasn't there. Luke didn't live with Jesus. Luke understood everything what he understood from Mary and from the other apostles who lived with him, Matthew was a bit more elaborated, but the Gospel of John, the youngest apostle, was a bit more lyrical, was a bit more, we can say, at least my opinion, is the most beautiful, at least for me.
Yeah, perhaps
But
because
here,
he was young, he was very young when Jesus passed away,
and he had time to stay there,
yeah,
he had
exactly.
time to remember things. But here, a lot of people, they read this part of his gospel, and they said, if Jesus is sending to us the consoler, who is going to stay with us forever, that's why here Kardec break it down. If he's going to stay with us forever, he could not be a person, because each person in the world dies. Jesus died himself. All the apostles died. So if it's not a person, because he's going to be with us forever, what is the consoler? And that's what Kardec explains. It's an idea. It's idea which is going to, as Stevan said here, which is going to be lifting up the veil. A lot of things what Jesus said there, Jesus could not say things openly to the apostles. to people around him, because people had no clue. How could you say things like once he said to Nicodemus that in my father's house are many mansions? Nicodemus was looking at him, was looking at the sky, and maybe he was thinking, is he drunk or what? And Jesus said to Nicodemus, if you cannot understand things which I say about earth, how can you understand things from which I say from heaven? So Jesus was aware that a lot of things we wouldn't understand, and we still are not understanding. That's why Spiritism, as Stevan said, comes to us and say things to us in a much more plain sense, working with science, not against science. That's why a lot of things which Kardec said in the 19th century, we start to see nowadays in science. If you get the Spirit's book, it does not talk about quantum physics, but talk about the vital principle, talks about the fluid universal cosmic, talks about certain principles which quantum physics has, about the infinity of the universe, the power of the soul, the power of the prey, how our thought can reach certain space in the universe. So the Spiritism the Christianity, the ideas of Jesus had to go slowly throughout centuries. But now the Spirits, they say that in the introduction of the Gospel according to Spiritism, now there is an invasion of good spirits on earth. Now this arm of good spirits, they are coming to bring to humanity the truth. And the truth perhaps is not Spiritism per se, in a religious sense of way. But when we say that Spiritism is the consoler, it's because Spiritism brings ideas which they are hand to hand with science. And here there is a beautiful part in the message, the item 5, right in the end, when the Spirit of the truth say the very famous phrase, which is this: Spiritists, love one another. That's the first precept. Educate yourselves. That's the second. So he's just saying to us what we said in the beginning. We have to love one another, to keep working in the love and love charity. But now he's saying to us, educate yourselves, because we cannot keep believing in hell. We cannot keep believing that there is a spirit called devil, called
Satan.
the devil, Satanas, which is like equal to God. Because if you take the Jewish traditions, Satanas, or the devil, is like God. He used to be the angel of God, Lucifer. Now he became one equal to God. There is no being in the universe, evil being, which is equal to God. So Spiritism comes to us to say, now is the time that we have to use our intelligence, our common sense, our knowledge, which other more clever men than us died for it. If you see the scientists, the astronomers who died in the 15th century, in the 19th century, and the 16th century, all say to us, Earth is not the center. You guys are no one in the universe. You are a small, tiny particle of dust. All these men, they died to say to us, that's the truth. So Spiritism is trying to say to us, we are not the center. We are not the worst also. Because as it says here, there is a God in the center who loves everything. But in order to this everything to be working in a really smooth way, it needs our help also. That's why now Jesus is asking us, now it's your turn to do something. That's why we have to see, what are we doing? Are we loving one another? Are we practicing charity? Because if you just come here and read the book and don't do anything, we are just enlightening our mind. But how about our heart? And this part of the gospel, chapter 6, is about to enlighten our hearts. It's not about to enlighten our minds only. It's to make ourselves to understand, again, what we always say. God is good. God is a loving Father. There are good spirits who look after us, but they are asking us to do something also. Go ahead, Steve. I talk too much.
No, I'm saying here. Okay, hi, Linda is with us. Patrocinio, Rihanna, thank you. So what we are saying here, we need to understand. We are we are in a world of expiation, which means we need to go under some tasks, some trials. Okay, and uh, we cannot go under these trials without this suffering, because this suffering will trigger patience, will trigger courage, will trigger faith, will trigger dedication, will trigger love, and all other virtues. And why we have this, as Wanderley said, this episode of down, you know, the angel was like Jesus, their envy, and he went down. That is nobody went down.
There was
As
no
per,
Lucifer.
yeah, as per question 121 of the Spirit's book, we were created simple and ignorant. And I think, guys, you are with us a long time, and we repeatedly saying this. We evolve, we learn with every incarnation, we learn more and more, and we are evolving. There is no step back. It's always step forward. You can stay stagnated here, but you not go back.
That's it.
It's always a step forward. So there is no, oh, we were created perfect and we did something wrong and we down. Oh, come on. If I was created perfect, of course I will not do anything wrong because I'm perfect.
Yep.
So that's what we need to put in our mind and forget about all these. Oh, we need to. No, we don't need nothing. What you need to do is live your life as it should be, practicing your charity, looking after the people around you. And charity, I'm saying here, is not, oh, I'm giving 10,000 euros. No, no. Charity is donate your time, your attention. Be kind with the people. Read the books, but also practice that. That it's pointless. You read all books we have from Chico Xavier, Allan Kardec, and you don't practice nothing. It's pointless. You know. So we need to put ourselves in a position of, okay, I am here for a purpose. Okay, I don't know what it is this purpose, but I will give the best of me. That's what you need to do. This will not avoid problems. This will not avoid sufferings. This will not avoid uh, 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 downturns in your life. No, no. There is no such life. Everything like smoothly. You know, no, no. Why? Because again, we need these difficult moments in order to trigger better virtue in ourselves. The moment we are passing by now, we don't know what happened. We don't know what's the root cause. There is a lot of theories, conspiration theories, you know, but unfortunately, perhaps we don't have eyes to see why we going under all these turbulent times. But I don't know. In 10 years, this is gonna be part of a history book, and then we will understand why we had this. So in 10 years' time, I don't know, or a little bit more or a little bit less. I would say, my grandkids, you learn this moment in a school. Like we had the World War II history, and we still have people living here telling us all the stories. World War II was bad, of course, terrible. But the world learned some lesson. The world learned some, could take, the world could make a lemonade out of all these lemons. And that's what you need to do with your life. If life is bringing you lemons, make a lemonade. That's what we need to do. And according with Gabriel saying here to us, the most difficult part of it all is to forgive those who do bad things against us. That's it. You know, why that person did something bad to me? We need to analyze that. What the lesson I need to learn from that action from my brother? Perhaps I needed to work my patience, or you did nothing. You just need to exercise your forgiveness. So the moment here, the promise consoler here is, hey, calm down, analyze. Let me see, Gabriel saying, I'm still struggling to forgive a guy that broke into my house and stole my son's video game and a bicycle. He even ate food from the refrigerator and praying every single day, asking God to bless him and take his thoughts and feelings off my head and heart. You're doing a better step. Remember, Gabriel, forgive is not equals forget. Okay? You can forgive when you know you had forgiven an action. When you remember that episode, but you don't have that hate, that bad feeling at that moment. I don't know. Of course, I'm seeing here from a completely different point, but the guy ate the food from the refrigerator. We don't know. Let's say this guy was just seeking food. I know that's a horrible and wrong way to seek for food. I know that. But what's going to happen to us now? What happened now? A lot of people losing their jobs. Restaurants are, at least here in Europe, in Ireland, they are begging to the government to release the restrictions in order to sell food, because otherwise they're going to break their business. So if that happens, let's say the criminality will going to increase. But increase, it's a bad choice. Go to criminality instead of increase our charity, instead of increase our solidarity upon those brothers. So perhaps this is one of the lessons we need to learn. We are passing through a bad moment. Let's not increase the criminality, but let's increase our solidarity. Could be. Just coming out, but could be. So, that's my 2 minutes.
I just want to go back to this. When we get here in the gospel, a lot of times, if you read the 4 gospels, if you read the Acts of the Apostles, always Jesus refer God or himself as a gardener, as an owner of a farm. He always represents himself or God as someone who deals with workers, who is there ready for action. The men of the vineyard, the workers of the vineyard. Why I'm trying to explain this? Because We have to understand, as Stevan said, we are in a transition. Okay, we are changing now from world of expiations and atonements to the world of regeneration. But what does the good spirits need from us? Because it's not like this. Oh, now it's the time to change. Let's press the switch, and bam, we change it.
Yes.
No, 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 no. Some people they think like this. Oh, no, it's changing now. So the earth is changing. The earth is not changing, guys. If someone said to you guys that, maybe you guys didn't understand it properly, or they explained it wrong. We must change our hearts, our attitudes. Like Gabriel was saying, we have to exercise more forgiveness. And it's not a matter of being Christian, being religious here at all. Let's take all the religions that we know, okay, and put on the side. Let's not talk about religion here. If you guys don't want even to talk about Jesus, that's fine also. But let's talk about the morality. As if morality was the trigger to change us to the road of regeneration, because morality is the greatest trigger, not religion. Because religion sometimes can be attached to dogmas, can be attached to traditions, can be attached to my ways of thinking or my people,
Or
my
you just,
country's tradition.
or you just do what they are saying because you are afraid of burning somewhere or something happen.
That's it.
You're not doing for
You are
your heart.
just
You're doing
following.
because you are afraid of something.
That's it. You are in the Moses time. You are just following because of the law. Like it's written in the Gospel according to Spiritism. Moses brought the law. Jesus brought love. And Spiritism will bring the enlightenment of the soul and in the mind, because Spiritism explains. So if we want to go to regeneration world, we have to change ourselves. Morally speaking, improve our hearts, make our hearts to be more to create more empathy to the others. Once we are able to do this, that's why, as we say in the beginning, Jesus always talk about workers, because for this work of for the vineyard to produce uh, good wine, we need workers, we need hands, we need people to produce that taste and delicious wine. And what is the wine? The wine for us, we can say, is the word of regeneration, just using a metaphor here. And who are the workers? We are the workers. So there will be no wine, there will be no word of regeneration if we don't start changing ourselves. Do we have to become a scientist, Wanderley? Someone may ask me, for us to get into world generation? No, but we must have in our heart goodwill. We do not have to be perfect, but from now on, we have to have goodwill. We still can make mistakes, and we will make mistakes. I make mistakes every day with people, fighting sometimes, arguing with people. But the thing is, once you realize you made a mistake, as we spoke last Sunday, like St. Augustine suggests, oops, realize you made a mistake. You treat someone badly. What do? You try to go to that person as soon as you can to say, I'm sorry. Once we start to do that with our hearts, we start to change our vibration to go towards the regeneration. We start to become the workers of the vineyard, and that's what Jesus wants. They want us to work, to produce, because once we get into the world of regeneration, we're gonna say to ourselves, I'm here because I deserve. And who deserves that? Everyone. Not only a few people, not only people who knows Spiritism or Christianity. All the atheists they need, all those people who committed terrible crimes they need. But each one of us will get there in our own time. Some people they're gonna get a bit later than the others. But as Stevan said, the law of progress keeps progressing. No one is left behind. We're gonna keep progressing. So once we are aware of this, once we understand our responsibility, once we do this, I believe we're going to start to act a bit better, because we're going to start to measure what we do, what we say, what we think. We will start to understand what I think makes a lot of difference. What I do and what I see when no one is watching me makes the entire difference. Because sometimes we could lie. Before we could lie, in the spiritual world, there is no lies, guys. So that's why, again, uh, just to finalize my what I'm saying here, we have to be the workers, but we have to be the good workers, not the workers from the past, like Stevan said, who just obeys because we are afraid. We cannot be afraid. We should not be afraid because we have knowledge. We have the law of love with us. So why are we afraid? That's it,
Yeah.
Stevan.
It's a beautiful comment here from Rihanna. She's saying, in this time, we need to trust in God's infinite wisdom and never forget that we are loved. It's only through trials that we learn and are closer to God. We need to say thank you for every trial, for God is trusting us with eternal lesson. And Rihanna, do you know? You said here, it's only through trials that we learn and are closer to God. Do you know why we are closer to God only when we are in trial? Because when we are trial is the moment when you really pray, when you really connected with God. It's on the trial we remember Him. It's on the trial when we do that sincere prayer. That's why we are only on these moments connect to Him. Instead of being connected all the time, instead of being connected on thanking for you woke up, for your life, for the trials you have. And the worst feeling we have is fear. Fear do not allow us to go any further. Fears always push us back. We need to face whatever problem we have. Oh, I'm passing through this. Yes, it is bad. It is. But let's do it together. Should be our position. Going back to our example here, if the humankind, the entire planet say, okay, it's bad. We are passing torment problems. We have different opinions. Even doctors don't agree with themselves. But we know we need to keep a distance and we need to wear facing masks in order to avoid. Let's, as a humankind, do it. Doesn't matter if you agree or don't agree. So, and some people, they do have fear this or fear that. Fear is part, but you can control your fear. Wanderley was in army like me, and many of you guys may have seen here. Fear is every time with us. But you have to choose if you let the fear control you or you will control your fear. You have two choices. You have to make a decision. When you let the fear control yourself, then we do the wrong things. When you control your fear, it means I am advancing, I am going forward, but with cautious. Because going forward without fear is dangerous as well. Is a kind of inconsequent. You don't measure your limits. So, but when you go forward and you are and your fear is under control, it means you are cautious. But again, This will not avoid you to having problems, to having troubles. Interesting point from Robbie here. Fear can be an indication that we are ignorant on a specific topic. Perfect. I love that. I love that. I I love this comment, Robbie. And in my opinion, you 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 hit the spot here because fear, most of the cases, is the unknown. I am afraid of the unknown. I don't know what's there, and this is ignorance. Ignorance, not in a bad way to say, is ignorance is lack of knowledge on something. But I learned one more. Thank you, Robbie, for your comment here, and I'm gonna use that. That's it. Yeah, yeah. Because when you have knowledge of something, like those guys who are, I'm a fear. I'm fear of driving. Once you learn how to drive, you have no fear. So we need to face our problems. We need to have courage to say, I don't know. Raise up our hands and say, I don't know. And ask for help. I just making this for me is the promise consoler. This is what Spiritism has teaching me every single day. And this comfort my heart, comfort my soul. If I'm right or if I'm wrong, I don't know. But that's what I believe. That's what makes sense for my mind. That's what makes sense for my actions. And I invite you to find out what makes sense for you. That's my invitation. Find what makes sense for you. Put aside your prejudices, your fears, your preconceptions, and find what's the purpose. Perhaps you cannot find the purpose of your life while you are here, but live one day trying to do the good for you, everyone. You know, so that's life. That's what only thing that Jesus wants for us is love one another, like Wanderley said. We have on chapter 5, love one another and learn with each other. Okay, Wanderley, what's your final comments?
No, the only thing which I disagree with you now when you said, "Oh, perhaps we may not find our purpose in life." I mean, I'm disagreeing in a good way, okay? Because I really believe that we all gonna find, and if we don't find, it's because we weren't open. No, maybe we searched, but we weren't open. Because sometimes life brings to us our purpose, but our purpose is not to be John Lennon, to be Paul McCartney, to be a great physician, or to be someone famous. Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Divaldo Franco, because some people, they want a purpose in life to be like this. But who wants to have a purpose in life being the garbage man? Who wants to have a purpose in life being the one who looks after maybe, sick people, a mental, a nurse who works with sick people, or maybe someone who works in an amusement park or anything like this. We don't want these simple tasks, which because of society and especially in the South America, I believe, because of slavery, we see certain work, certain positions as something bad. That's something quite cultural there, you know. Maybe in Europe is different, maybe in America is different, but in South America we see this, that certain jobs, they're only for the really poor people. But no one wants to have this kind of jobs, this position in life, and say that's my purpose. But if you really open in your mind, you're gonna see that once you are clearing out your city, once you are taking the garbage, once you are doing that with all your heart and doing your best, you are not just making your salary in the end of the month. You are cooperating with your city to make your city cleaner. You are helping, you know, to someone. Once they come to your city, to your town, they say, what a nice place. If you are working, let's say, in a supermarket, putting, you know, foods on shelf, if you do that with love and with care, you know, each time that someone else goes to the supermarket, they're gonna see a supermarket which is all tidy and nice. What we are trying to say that all the work, and what I mean work, I'm not talking about jobs, profession, but all the things that we do are important. So all the kind of lives that we have, even the more simpler ones, they are important once we think overall. Because sometimes I have that kind of position in society to learn something. Maybe you're gonna see someone doing a hard work in life because they chose that in that reincarnation to learn a little bit more about how to be humble, to learn how to treat people nicely, to learn how to appreciate small portions of money, of salary. So everything has a reason. And once we understand that everything has a reason, and which each one of us work for the good and for a bigger purpose, we all found our purpose in life. And what is our purpose in life? To become better, to be nice to one another, to leave a mark. In once we passed away, we must leave a mark in somehow in this world. Some people they live, I don't know, to millions of people. But if you leave your mark to one person at least, or if you leave your mark in something that you did, so once someone they look at something which I did, and they said, "Wow, Wanderley, you should that quite nice. I remember once he was doing this, he did that with passion." That's our purpose. So small things. Let's not think trying to be all Chico Xavier's, all Mother Teresa's, all being someone special. We are always special. But like Jesus said so many times, for those who have eyes to see and for those who have ears to hear. So we have to open up ourselves. Otherwise, we're gonna be like this, only seeing specific things to be called such as my purpose in life. And that's
I
it.
would say, Wanderley, the difference between a poison and a medicine, it is the dose. It's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you to decide what you want to do. You want to take medicine? Happy days. You want to take a poison? It's the same thing. So be careful with you. And I'm pretty sure if you start to looking after the people who are surrounding you, you will find your purpose. And that is like Wanderley wisely said here. Everybody thinks the purpose is being someone who will make the difference. If you want to make a difference in the life of someone else. You will make the difference. You know? Try to make a difference in the life of someone else. And we will have a different world. Again, as Wanderley said, it's not that the earth will not change. What's going to change is the population, the people who are on earth. So we will only be in a regenerated world once the occupants of the people who are on earth reach that level. That's it. And in my humble opinion here, we are very far from that point.
Oh
Very,
yeah.
very far. You know? But we can start today working ourselves. And this is the promise consoler. That's why Jesus said the promise consoler will stay with us forever. Because once we learn this, once we we face this past. Let's see Jesus' story. He suffered, but at the end, he delivered his message. And he suffered with faith because he had faith in God's purpose. The suffering he had that that were a meaning. So, but the reward, I think so. He was afraid of. I think so. But his faith was bigger than the fear, than being afraid of. His faith was, yeah.
No, no, that's another thing which I have to disagree. I don't think he was afraid at all.
No, no. I'm saying
No.
no. I would say yes. Well, I would say yes. He was think. Of course, when you see all the things you're gonna suffer, you say, "Wow!" But his faith, his mission was much higher than this. You know
No, Steve,
that.
do you know why I think I disagree? If you sorry to cut you there. Because like this, if you say to me that he was a very clever man, that he was someone who was special, but he was a man in the end, I agree with you. But knowing the teachings from Emmanuel, that he's a Christic or Christic spirit, a pure spirit, older than Earth. So before Earth was started to be created on the universe with dusts and explosions and everything like this, Jesus was a pure spirit already, according to Emmanuel in the
Yeah,
way of the light, the Caminho da
yeah,
Luz. So a spirit in that level doesn't matter where he is, he's not going to be afraid. That's why I think some parts in the gospel, when they portray Jesus fearing in the Mount of Olives, or once he was there, before, um, after the Last Supper, right before the Romans took him away, once they portray that he was afraid and he was praying for God to put away that pain, I believe that's something much more which the apostles understood and they wrote. But I don't think he had fear in his heart. Sorry, this part I
no,
disagree. Yeah.
you don't need to agree with me, of course. No, but it's up to you guys. Again, you need to choose. You know, you need to choose. Let's see the comment here. While he's suffering on the cross, he still consoled the others crucified near him. He consoled his mother, little John, giving hope and love despite his material pain. Yes, and we know, reading, Wanderley perhaps know better than me. He went to rescue, not to rescue, to see son Judas. What's the name?
Judas. Yeah,
Judas,
Judas. Yeah.
because he committed suicide. So he went
Right
to,
straight after the
yeah,
crucifixion. Yeah.
yeah,
Few minutes
and,
later, the
and then he
crucifixion.
went to Jesus went to rescue him.
No, it
Uh,
wasn't Jesus, it was an angel, a worker of Jesus,
yeah,
a
but
humble
I think
spirit.
he said to look after him. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
but Humberto de Campos says also that he was with Judas for 3 days, consoling him. And
yeah,
even when Judas was in his arm, Judas was so crazy at that point after he committed suicide, the umbral. in the lower zones, that he couldn't even understand that that was Jesus with him. It's always a beautiful passage from Bertozzo,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, don't think we do have that in English.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But it's a beautiful. It's very emotional.
very
It's
emotional.
very
Yeah.
emotional. Yeah, yeah. But that's it, my friends. So our time is up,
Yeah.
and the final prayer is all yours, my friend.
Okay. So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Let's calm our hearts and our minds. Let's be thankful for everything that we have, all the good things, and also let's be thankful for all the harms that we have faced in our lives. Because believe me, all the bad things which had come to us, they come to us in order that we should learn a bigger lesson. Perhaps sometimes once we are in the suffering, we don't see that lesson. We don't see that goodness of God. But most of the time, once the turmoil passes, we feel, we understand that somehow some help comes from somewhere. And even the situations that it end as a disaster, if we open more our hearts, we understand that even among all the suffering and even among all the sufferers in life, there are good spirits. There is God who is trying to help us, saying to us, give one more step, my son. Keep going. Don't be afraid, because I'm there with you, even in the most difficult times. That's the teachings of Jesus. That is the teachings of Spiritism. And I really wish that these teachings get closer to our hearts. Thank God for another opportunity of the work here, and so be it.
Okay. Okay, dokie. Thank you very much. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Rihanna. Thank you, Patrocinio. Thank you, Leah. So, thank you, everyone. Comments our lesson for this beautiful day. May we meet again soon. Yes, sure, sure. We'll be here next Tuesday, next Thursday, with Samantha or Nady. Also, tomorrow we do have our gospel according our study group. The email is here. So send. Yeah,
Sorry.
it is here, spiritismireland@gmail.com, and Nady will send you the link. And also at 9 p.m., we will have the Spiritual Light show. So with myself, Charles, Elsa, Silva Gibbons, and there is a new uh, uh, a special guest, a psychology person, Leah Fernanda. She'll be should be with us. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you soon. Please don't melt down in this summer, especially you, Don. Stay brave. Hang on. Okay. Thank you. Wanderley, once my pleasure, my friends. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks very much. Have a good night. Bye bye.